So my name's Leah Flint. I'm with Snack Magazine, and I'm with Chris Colfer, the star actor in the restoration of Grayson Manor. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Honestly, I'm such a big fan of Glee, so I'm kind of having a freak out moment right now.
That's right. It usually lasts for 20 seconds.
yeah. Everything will be normal, we swear. But yeah, so I feel like a lot of people know you from Glee, and also your storytelling, the author and everything. But what was the calling for this film? Did Glenn interview you, or was he you're my guy? How did this kind of come about?
So I've been a fan of horror films for my whole life. I'm full-time Halloween. My soul is full-time Halloween.
Okay.
So I've always wanted to be part of a horror film or a horror series or whatnot. And I remember my agent called me and said, "I've got the script. It is out there. It is wild, but I really like it, so I hope you really like it too." And I remember I read it, and on page 2, I knew that I was saying yes. I knew it. It was such a wild story. It was a very complicated queer character. I don't think queer characters often get written like this. We're kind of sometimes used as props or sycophants. We often don't have the character doesn't have a strong soul or a personality. So I really, really loved that this was such a flawed person, and it really felt like a real person. And so then I Zoomed with Glenn, and we hit it off immediately, and talked about horror movies and the type of horror movies that inspired this one, like the Hammer films and whatnot. And so we just vibed really well, and then I waited 7 years to make it.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was attached to it for 7 years.
That as well, and I could not imagine going with a project for 7 years. I can't even stay at a job longer than a year.
Oh,
let alone 7. So
I kept waiting for the phone call when they said you've aged out of the project. They're going on to someone else, but thankfully that didn't happen.
That's dedication. So you and Glenn must be really close.
Yes.
The cast must have felt such a bond.
Oh yeah, it was a total family. And it's so funny because it's there's such horrific things that happen on camera, but behind the scenes it was nothing but laughter and love. Constantly. So it was a great group of people to work with.
I feel like you kind of need that with this kind of film, something to detach from the craziness and the intenseness.
Yes.
And then you can just chill with your homies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was very nice to and we all got along very well. And I was the only American on the set, which that was the first for me. So I loved it. I thought that was wonderful getting to experience and hear about all kinds of different cultures and governments and whatnot.
What's the most surprising bit of culture that you've learned so far?
Okay, so I've been to Ireland before, but this is I lived in Ireland for 3 months while we shot this. And I didn't realize that every Irish person was a total smartass, which I loved and identified with so much. And I'm like, oh, this is where my family gets it. It's part of the culture. Okay, so and I'm such a smartass myself, so I fit right in.
It's kind of like that banter where you've got to have that backwards and forwards, and if you can't keep up,
right, yeah.
It's because I'm so bad with that dark, quick humor. Sometimes, in Glasgow as well, everyone is so ladder.
Yes, absolutely.
And you need to keep up.
You gotta keep up. Yeah. You gotta be on your toes, but in a good way. It's very stimulating.
That's good. So I feel with the film, I know that Glenn mentioned there's a lot of stuff to do with the subconscious, and obviously the hands and everything like that, and it's all to do with the mind. Did you have to do any rituals or research to learn more about yourself, or
oh gosh no, I think I probably identified with him way more than I'll ever publicly admit. Okay. so playing a bit of a sociopath was actually a little more it was natural for me than I probably should have been. But I think getting the accent right, that was my top priority. And that kind of felt like I had 2 jobs in one. And I worked with an amazing dialect coach named Esther Dorley, who really set me straight and got me in a good process for it. But then I also didn't realize until I actually got set and was plugged into the prosthetics that I wouldn't have hands to act with. So I had to use my face for the entire thing. It was my only tool to get the emotions across. So that was a really interesting process. And oh my God, the profound respect that I gained for people for amputees was extraordinary.
it's almost like you're learning from like a different lens, and like even though you're within this character, learning about this character, you've now learned a whole different like layer kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I pretty much I learned how to puppeteer with this film, so I could work for Jim Henson after this.
Okay. Well, yeah. Was there any like funny moments, other than like the dark scenes and stuff like that? Like, was there anything that like behind the scenes you were like, oh my god, like, that was crazy?
So one of my favorite stories is the family that owned Strat Valley Hall, the mansion that we shot in. They still lived there, and they had a corgi that would escape and that would sneak onto set.
Yeah.
So there would be times when I'd be like covered in blood, screaming, doing the whole thing, and I would see a little corgi in my periph, just watching me wagging its tail.
Oh, that's so cute.
So that was, but I was really missing my dog because I was there for 3 months. So it was nice to have a puppy fix.
Yeah. So was filming there for 3 months, and then you did like the project for like 7 years. So for that process, was that mostly just reading the script, going over what was actually happening, or like why was the process so long?
Oh, I think they were just trying to find funding and timing, and also there was the pandemic, of course, put a huge hiccup in this, and then there were writer strikes and acting strikes in the States, which I'm in both of those guilds, so it really the timing was perfect, because I really was worried that I wouldn't get to do it because of all these big world issues. But it was so interesting because when I first signed up for the film, it took place in the States, and then it took place in I think Scotland, and then it took place in Ireland. So as the time was going on, I was learning all these different accents. So which is nice. So I have those in my arsenal if I ever need them. So it was a lot of pre-planning that I ended up not needing.
So do you think you can like understand like a lot of accents now, like in terms of like Glaswegian? Do you get like the Glaswegian accent?
I think so. I think that's kind of always been my superpower, because I've always been a huge fan of like BBC shows and whatnot. So I've always had a good ear for I always know what people are saying. I don't need subtitles when I watch Peaky Blinders.
That's good.
So that's good. I could brag about that.
Nice. Okay. So I feel like your character sits at like kind of like the center of a complicated relationship with like his mother. So do you think like this relationship dynamic kind of opens up a conversation of legacy, sexuality, and like that kind of stuff?
I think anyone who has a complicated relationship with their father or mother will be able to identify with this story in some way, especially queer people. I really think it's probably one of the most dysfunctional mother-son relationships that's ever been on film. Probably second only to Psycho. And that's also one of the reasons why I was so drawn to the script, was because it was just such a interesting, vicious dynamic. And they both give as good as they get. And it's a really, really fucked up love language that they have with each other. And so that was really fun to explore.
That's good. So how does it feel to be part of the space of queer horror storytelling? So I feel like there's not a lot out there. I feel like the only one I can really think of is like probably like American Horror Story from like the top of my head when I think of like ones that are out there. So how does it feel like, okay, I'm in this now kind of thing?
I was so excited because I've been a horror fan for my whole life, and I've always wanted to do something like this. I've never been given an opportunity to do it. I'm a little biased because I think all horror is queer horror, because I think the theatricality, the fear,
the campness.
Absolutely. Those are all queer experiences. So I think when someone goes into a theater and watches a horror film, they are having a queer experience, even if they don't realize it.
Like in their subconscious.
They're subconscious.
But with hands this time.
Exactly, with hands.
Okay.
And I loved how the hands. I mean, it's so silly that I get robot hands, but what those hands symbolize, like they symbolize this character's agency and his power and the tools for his ambition, and then to lose that, and then all of his power goes to the one person who can't stand the most. I mean, I thought it was just brilliantly written.
No, it's a really good like part of symbolism and everything like that. So do you think horror is like in the future for you? Like,
I hope
can you
so.
see it coming about?
It was so therapeutic to do it. Like, there's nothing better than just screaming.
Yeah.
Like, it just, you don't have to go to therapy. It's just, it's really, really cathartic.
Yeah.
And I remember one time the scene where I get my hands actually cut off, I screamed so loud that the gong, that was on set went off.
Yeah.
So I was like, I still got it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I hope there's lots of horror in my
Yeah.
future, because that's just where my
And
brain
more
is.
gongs.
Yeah.
More screaming gongs.
I think it's a great time for horror. I think there's so many amazing
Yeah.
horror films coming out, and I really, really wish that the Hollywood Foreign Press or the Emmys and Golden Globe. I really wish they had horror categories, because it's such a.
I didn't even know that they didn't have.
No, yeah, and I wish they did, because it's a huge part of the industry, and I think a lot of talent gets overlooked because of that.
Yeah. Okay. And then lastly, what do you hope that the audience take away from this?
Oh my gosh. I just hope they have a wild time, because it's a wild story. I hope it makes them laugh. I hope it makes them really rethink what obligation sometimes comes with privilege. I hope everyone knows that it's supposed to be funny and shocking, and it's meant to be enjoyed. And I hope people see it in theaters when it gets released, because the crowds, that's been the best part, watching people gasp and laugh and scream all together. It's been really nice.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for joining me, and hopefully we get to see you in more horror, more campesque kind of films.
I hope so.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, touch wood. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.